Coming soon, the same excellent Luselect service in a new location at Daisy Avenue in Sanssouci, Castries. Thanks for your patience.
Streaming live via the internet at www.power979.com. This is Power 97.9 FM.
For me, there's a simple rule in politics. Never ever be surprised by what happens in politics.
The face of truth is open, the eyes of truth are bright. The lips of truth are ever closed, the head of truth is upright. The breast of truth stands forward, the gaze of truth is straight. Truth has neither fear nor doubt, truth has patience to wait. The words of truth are touching, the voice of truth is deep. The law of truth is simple, all you sow you reap. The soul of truth is flaming, the heart of truth is warm. The mind of truth is clear and firm through rain and storm. Facts are only its shadow. Truth stands above all sin. Great be the battle of life. Truth in the end shall win. The image of truth is the cross. Wisdom's message is its rod. The sign of truth is Christ, and the soul.
Dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shoppers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller. Please, at least leave us alone in our living room. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crying in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
On the broadcast today, we report on the work of the police using their bare hands. We'll explain during the course of our program this afternoon. Our question of the day, why the maximum wait for the minimum wage? And we'll try to focus on the plight of our brothers and sisters over in Haiti as Caribbean community leaders and representatives of multinational organizations. They are meeting over in Jamaica today with a view to finding some kind of solution. And we have one or two disclosures to make on the broadcast. The most monitored talk show in the world on Power 97.9 FM. We are also on the NewsSpin Facebook page as well as the NewsSpin YouTube channel. My name is Timothy Poleon. We go up until 2 o'clock this afternoon, and you'll be included in the conversation. You'll be able to call 452-2979, and that is 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, 716-2026. 4 years ago today, what happened? The World Health Organization declared COVID-19 a pandemic, and therefore the society began to shut down as a result, and most of us were panicking. And you can also recall that St. Lucia recorded its first case of COVID-19 on March the 13th of 2020. So as far as COVID-19, we have certainly come a long way. But certainly must not let our guard down, because I'm told it is still very much in existence, and it is somewhat quietly taking its toll on many people around the world, including long COVID. Law enforcement personnel, from time to time, we are very critical of our police officers, and rightly so, because we hold you to a high standard, and you are working for us, the people of this country. And our very lives depend on your ability to execute your duties in a professional manner, being proactive, and even when you cannot stop a crime, investigate and successfully effect an arrest, and hopefully the evidence that you would have collected will stand up in court. So the police, they have a huge responsibility in maintaining law and order. And the fight that they are grappling with right now is ensuring that they rid our streets of illegal guns and ammunition. Those of you who would have watched the news on Friday on DBS television would have, I don't know, attention, I don't know if it slipped you, but a press release from the Press Relations Department of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force provided some chilling statistics. For example, it reads that on Tuesday, February the 5th of 2024, the RSLPF conducted a joint operation within the Northern and Central Divisions. Operations involved police officers from the Northern and Central, also Southern Division tactical teams, bicycle patrol unit, and also the vulnerable persons team. During the operation, officers executed 6 search warrants and apprehended 5 individuals for the offenses ranging from the possession of prohibited firearms and ammunition and money laundering. In Dennery were searched, resulting in the apprehension of 5 individuals and seizure of, get this, 66 rounds of 5.56 ammunition. 66 rounds of 5.56 ammunition. 51 rounds of .40 ammunition. 8 rounds of 9mm ammunition. Cartridge cases with 1 magazine containing 37 rounds of 5.56 ammunition. Also 1 Glock 27 firearm with an auto sear and 15 rounds of .40 ammunition. Realize the caliber of those weapons. 1 AR-15 assault rifle and a quantity of cash, euro, was also confiscated. The police, I'm told, a couple of people called me and told me that during the wee hours of that day, and that is February the 5th, the police were relentless, they were determined, they worked very hard. And that is sometime between 2 and 7 o'clock in the morning, in the AM. And they were literally on their knees because they had the intel, that firearms and ammunition in the area, but it's a case of locating those items. So they were groveling, they were on their knees, they were on their hands, they were searching, they were digging with their bare hands, and they ended up being successful. I'm saying all this because their work could have been made a lot more easier, and you know where I'm going. If the National Security Minister, that individual is also the Prime Minister, he is also the Finance Minister, would swallow his pride and provide the police with the K9 unit that they badly need, that they deserve, that could make their work a lot more easier and could put them in a position where they would be more effective. Chances are, as much as they were able to discover or unearth 66 rounds of 5.56 ammunition, 51 rounds of .40 ammunition, etc., etc., they could have gotten more unlicensed firearms and illegal ammunition. But nonetheless, the discovery was an impressive one, and we have to commend them and continue to be very, very critical of the Prime Minister and Minister with responsibility for national security. The guy in his wisdom decided that we did not need the K9 unit, but evidence that shows that definitely that unit can be put to good use. The evidence is there. I don't want anybody to talk to me about stats. Let's deal with the evidence. It was paying for itself. It was very effective in making several drug busts, and the rationale for deciding to disband the K9 unit. The police would also have reported that on Tuesday, January the 3rd of 2023 at about 1 p.m., CID commenced investigations into a report of a suspicious death which occurred at Trois Pitons Castries. On Thursday, the 5th of January 2024, the Major Crimes Unit embarked on an extensive, challenging yet meticulous investigation into the circumstances surrounding the murder of 42-year-old Sarafina Stephen. You remember her? 42-year-old Sarafina Stephen. And we have a tendency, it's not our fault, to forget those people. And those cases, normally police will tell you they're investigating, and somehow we don't believe them. But in this particular instance, it appears that they were indeed carrying out their investigations with a view to trying to solve that homicide. So the release continues on Thursday, March the 7th of 2024. The tenacity of the Major Crimes Unit led to the apprehension of 60-year-old Lawrence Dupré, alias Joy of Trois Pitons Castries, who was subsequently charged for murder of Sarafina Stephen. But it's not only the police, I'm told, through the intervention that resulted in somebody being charged in connection with that murder. DNA came into play. So the forensic laboratory carried out its work, and through the use of DNA, that individual was eventually or subsequently charged for the murder of Sarafina Stephen. So we also have to commend the folks there and make a case again for the authorities to pump more money into the forensic laboratory, because no longer a case of police officers being on the ground and carrying out the investigation manually, etc. You have to trust the science on that occasion, and you have to employ it. So the forensic laboratory, imagine if it can work effectively, if it gets the resources, and if the Prime Minister decides to reinstate the K9 unit, how far that we can go in our crime fighting effort. One other issue before we take your calls, and that is Wasco. According to the Infrastructure Minister, Wasco should get, there should be a review of its tariff because it is costing so much to produce a gallon of water, and according to him, we're not paying sufficient for that service. This is something that we'll continue to discuss, to explore as to whether Wasco is deserving of an increase anytime soon. So I'm trying to establish contact with a particular individual. I think he might be on the line right now. Try and see if I could speak with the one and only. Is he on the line, Mr. Producer? He's not there. Okay. He's there.
You hearing me?
Okay. Yes, sir, I could hear you.
Good.
Mr. Truscott, Augustine Suku, a one-time public utilities officer in the Ministry of Infrastructure. Sir, good afternoon to you. Thank you so
How
much
you
for...
doing?
I'm okay. Thank you so much for agreeing
right,
to speak
Tim.
with us on NewsSpin.
No problem, Tim.
Your thoughts on what the minister said, Minister Stevenson King said last week, suggesting that we ought
I
to
didn't
pay...
hear it personally.
Yes, but we ought to pay more. There should be a review, and we ought to pay more for water, potable water. What say you,
Well,
sir?
one thing I find is strange coming from him, from a minister, because the whole idea of setting up a regulatory regime, Timothy, is to permit the organization, the operator, the leverage of doing that without any necessarily thing, from the approval, or directive to Wasco to do that. The minister can't issue a directive or even suggest that, these things are left to, that's why you have a regulator, Tim.
And that is the Nook.
Eh?
The Nook.
Yeah, they're regulating water. That's why you have the regulator. Because in statute, as far as I know, I don't know if they always, legislation is always subject to amendments and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So, and I haven't been on the ball with what's currently obtained. But as far as I know, on three matters that could trigger a review of tariffs. First, this is an entitlement that the operator has every 3 years. All right? They call it the triennial tariff review. They use that to say to the public at large that what exactly the minister is saying. He's not the one to be saying these things. You know what I'm saying, Tim?
Mm-hmm.
That our costs are not in line with our our revenues, and we need to bring them in line in order to allow us the leverage, the space for any development, expansion, and improving quality, and so on and so forth.
In other words, there must be justification.
There must be justification.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Therefore, you begin a process, and this process begins with the submission of your audited statements, your most recent audited statements, which would be, if you want it now, you would have to have 23 annual. I think they do the thing annually. 23. You understand?
Yeah.
You submit that to whoever is reviewing on behalf of the general public. The public might engage different people to intercede, people who are knowledgeable about these things to intercede on behalf. All right? And, business, the hotel, so on, whoever. And these things have been subject to expensive consultations still. You understand?
Yeah.
So you submit your statements to ensure that your operation is being, whatever increases you're asking for. It's not just asking for an increase because of your costs, If your costs are not efficient, if you're not running an efficient, because the tariff must be based on efficient costs. So if you wastage, for example, if you have an unacceptable loss to what you call non-revenue water, that's when water is treated,
Yeah.
and then it's waste. It wastes by some breaking the line somewhere or whatever, and this water just flowing out, because that's a great loss too, because it costs to treat the water and then you're wasting it. So things like that.
But if the loss is due to bad infrastructure, isn't there justification for you to get an increase so that you can do the necessary repairs?
Well, you see, the thing has been moribund dead for a long time. I mean, Wasco infrastructure. I mean, one could justify it out and say the infrastructure, which is, of course, a reasonable scapegoat. Is that, that based on your infrastructure alone, you know what I'm saying, then it's the responsibility of government, because since the company cannot generate the commensurate revenues enough to undertake these infrastructural changes, all right, then the government because Wasco is a government-owned a corporate thing, so to speak, it's still owned by government. You know what I'm saying? And this government's responsibility. Tim, hence the reason, you remember some years ago there was the experiment of private sector participation in water, and nothing really came out of that. But the whole idea behind that is much the same now. They are justifying with private sector thing in the airport. It's basically the same thing, that the government does not have the resources, or even taking loans will not cut it, because the debt, the debt it will place us under would erode a lot from our recurrent revenues and deprive the citizenry of other goods and services. So they go that way, where you engage a would-be investor to find, how you manage, because it's a business, how you manage the risks and rewards.
But would you be in support of a PPP arrangement where Wasco is concerned?
Well, I don't know if the time, because this thing, the other thing is that we mustn't see this as a panacea. It wasn't the solution. A lot of countries tried it and it didn't work. Mm-hmm. You understand? So we have a lot of examples to go by where it didn't necessarily work.
But how do we solve the problem, therefore, Mr. Augustine?
Well, the next best thing is tariff increases, But then again, it's nothing, you can't take it lightly. It's not an arbitrary thing to just say, well, we're going to raise water by this or by that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To find the correct balance where affordability of the consumer is paid attention to. And the investor, these returns, which will be, if you want Wasco to more be independent, because right now, Wasco, for years, Wasco has been couched in the comfort of knowing that situation exists, that the swimming against the tide, the incomes haven't matched their thing for a long, long time. You know what I mean? And so when people complain, most time you see the attitude is nonchalant sometimes, and because in other words, what can they do because of this situation? Therefore, you know what I mean? So this kind of holiday in wallowing in mediocrity, so to speak, it has to end. There must be because government continues to put money, subsidize it one way or the other, and it's a drain still to government, and it's no comfort to the consumer who don't seem to be getting better services.
So therefore, Mr. Augustine, what is the justification for granting Wasco an increase in its tariff? Because it has failed miserably in fulfilling promises made to the consumer. Whenever it gets an increase, it's on the basis of wanting to improve the quality of its service or services, and those have failed.
And they were granted an increase some years ago, I recall.
Yeah.
Because my board, I was chairman of the board of WAS. I was never employed in WAS, as some people might think. I was just the chairman of the regulatory board. My board is the only board that has conducted a tariff review in Wasco. You recall that?
Yes, that's when it was granted 66% odd.
Right, and that included in that 66% was the dredging fee.
Yeah.
To handle the dredging of the dam to improve the capacity. So.
And what has happened to all that money, as far as you're aware?
Well, what they have used that money to to try and get current because they had a lot of outstanding debt to, especially for fuel with Lucilec, for energy. You understand? They have invested also in reducing non-revenue water, which means leakage and wastage of water that's treated. But this is an unending problem because as long as the infrastructure, it remains, that thing of water will always be an issue. Loss of water, and so this is, this is the situation.
But also, what about the political will? Governments having the political will to address those issues, because this is such an important but nonetheless sensitive issue that we're discussing.
I'm glad you came to that. Mm-hmm. They neither had the will to go with the private sector thing because of what it might have. It was around the election time. It was really coming when they would have to start that project, that process. And they, it's history from then. They just put it on the back burner and nobody wants to touch it. So we move along and we sweep in the issue of Wasco under the table. And the worst thing is that Wasco doesn't submit the audited statements for a number of years. They haven't done that. When the law, you see, the whole thing about our political thing, our politicians, is that they don't even seem to take these things like water as a serious issue. They involved in some kind of issues day after day that's not really, uplifting the lives of people and making a difference in people's lives. And they have this water thing just under the carpet. Parliament, and not water. I'm not talking about the government, the administration. I'm talking about all parliament. These people are supposed to be aware that Wasco is supposed to submit an audited statement of their operations every year, Tim. And they're not doing it for how many years, and nobody will never hear that coming up in Parliament, Because you know what? Usually the government, if the government guilty of it, the government not pushing it. The government not pushing it, the opposition will, as if it's important. These people, Tim, have to submit, and the regulatory report has to be thing have to give the independent report and the regulator.
Yeah.
Wasco has to submit their statements, and then you join these two statements. You understand, and you submit to Parliament. You understand, and this is what Parliament has to, it's supposed to have, to say to St. Lucian people on a yearly basis at least, what is the state of our water and where we intend to go. Talk about policies. Mr. King could talk about policy there. I guess, budget coming up, so I don't know. But we could talk about it there. But quickly, Tim, on the other two occasions, the company or the operator could seek tariff reviews. The annual review, which deals with inflation. In other words, look at how inflation has gone up.
Right.
And they have a right. They have a right to apply for a tariff increase every year to keep their revenues real. You understand? In other words, if you have a level of inflation, costs go up, and your tariff remain the same, that means, your profits will suffer. Okay? Mm-hmm. That stands to reason. So you have a right to do that. And on the third occasion, you have a extraordinary review, which is triggered by a force majeure. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Force majeure. You're aware of what force majeure is, yeah? Okay? Hurricanes and whatever. Things that are out of your control. Because these things could decimate your infrastructure and you might need, But so, the whole idea now is that Wasco not submitting their statements, and they have to scurry around now. The latest I've heard is that they engage a consultant to wrap up, to finish up the thing fast, so that they could ask for that review. In other words, they're just doing it for a review, They're not doing it because they mandated to do it by statute, you know what I'm saying? Which they should, that should be the culture. That should be the culture, and it's amazing that, regulators just keep these things and don't say nothing, and that's why I tell you, Tim, I always had, that whole problem with government, because what they want to do, and it's right. There's one man they could not muzzle, Tim, because you can't tell me I ain't going to sit down. Because I used to point that out to a then minister, a minister who is respected so highly because he could chat. He had the gift of the gab. Minister, we submit our regulatory report and make sure my people deliver annually to cabinet. Where is Wasco thing? Report to match, because that's the end of the process in terms of it has to get to Parliament, because cabinet is not Parliament business, The people's business per se, It's the boys and them in cabinet, that's him?
Absolutely.
But Parliament is all a we, no?
Yeah.
Right. Because that's what my interest. I don't want to, they tell me, boy, Suku boy, you do your share, what you have to do. Leave that there. That is the thinking, and I can't live with that. I used to put pressure on that, and after a while they see you as you're a troublemaker, all kind of things, But I could live with that because I know I do the work I do sincerely, and I serve in the public first. I know serving I didn't come to work. I have no tax in. This or that. I am a public servant. Let me serve the public. And if you want to get in my way, well, do what you have to do.
All right,
this kind of thing. Tim,
in the interest of time, I have to thank you so much, Mr. Trescott Augustine. Thank you so much for the clarification.
You from me. So long you hear from me. you have to hear a lot, eh?
I appreciate that exchange, sir. And you'll be hearing from me a little bit more.
And remember, it's you that called me.
I called you. I called you, sir. You did not call me. All right. Thank you so much. Former Public Utilities Officer, Mr. Trescott Augustine, and most of you know him as Suku. By the way, today is World Plumbing Day. So you must have great appreciation, Kimani, for your plumber, because he's the one who comes in and prevents the mold, and all that bacteria, from taking over your bathroom, toilet, etc. So we have to pay homage to our plumbers on this World Plumbing Day. And let me say hi to my plumber. His name is Erasmus. So good afternoon to you, Erasmus. I was hoping you are enjoying your day today. Still to come on the broadcast. How much did Dr. Virginia Albert Poyot's stay at a health institution in Martinique cost you, the taxpayer? All that and more on the most monitored talk show in the world. This is NewsSpin.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
Lazarus's Funeral Home is here for you. Lazarus's Private Cemetery offers a peaceful resting place for your loved ones. With tranquil settings, visitation, and reflection, we believe in the compassionate care of all our departed loved ones. Lazarus's Private Cemetery, let us help you create a final resting place. Make it special. Make it Lazarus's Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Payment plans are available for tombs. Call us in Vidbuta at 452-7491 or in New Dock Road, VA4, 454-6555.
Lucilex remote options are available to serve you every weekday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. daily. Call or send a WhatsApp message to 285-6796, 285-7859, 285-3593 or 285-3329. Or send an email to customersupport@lucilec.com for assistance. Call 457-4433 to get bill balances. Use myaccount.lucilec.com for detailed account information and to make online bill payments using a credit or debit card or online bank account. Customers may also take advantage of SurePay's online or walk-in service. Lucilec encourages you to use the available options for doing business with us remotely.
It's time to spice up your meals with KFC's March Madness special menu. Rally up for our crispy, delicious nugget. Grab 8 pieces for only $10 or elevate your meal with 12 pieces for $15. Snatch up our nugget combos, now serving 8 or 12 pieces with a biscuit, fries, and a drink. Buy from $22 to $17 or from $28 to $23. We've got the little ones covered with 5-piece nugget meal with a biscuit and drink, or twisted up with mac and cheese, each for a tiny price of $10 and $11. For the hearty eaters, 5 crispy strips served with fries and a drink are all yours for $20. It's a limited time feast. Make your way to KFC and treat yourself to these March Madness specials while they last. KFC, it's finger licking good.
In these modern times, the field of medicine has become so advanced that no one has to suffer any longer before they can be seen by a specialist doctor. La Clinique de Corps is proud to be the only healthcare provider in St. Lucia to offer the best and most experienced specialist doctors who are capable to first correctly diagnose and then successfully treat health conditions such as chronic back pain, spinal injury, sciatica, numbness, lupus, arthritis, joint pain, facial nerve pain, knee, heel and shoulder pain, cramps and carpal tunnel syndrome. Also available at La Clinique de Corps, complete nerve tests to detect nerve injury or muscle disease. All health insurances are accepted at La Clinique de Corps. So walk again pain-free with La Clinique de Corps. To book an appointment, please call 451-6559 or WhatsApp 721-9950.
Catch the new vibe and the lingo. More upon more, so the tingo is more wet flow if you didn't know. All these deals is a winner. More upon more wet flow. More data, more talk for sure. More WhatsApp, video, cast out, unlimited talk, so you not stop chat.
Flow prepaid combo plans just got better. Loaded with even more data and unlimited talk. Take advantage of WhatsApp and all its features with our new prepaid plans. Unleash your creativity with more social media. Dial *129 $ to activate.
Now that's the new vibe in the lingo. Yes. More upon more, see how the tingo. It's more wet flow, now you really know. Catch it now. All these deals make you save more. Get more.
Night Meds is your dependable neighborhood pharmacy. You'll notice that upon entry, you are greeted by caring professional staff, attentive to your every need. Your prescriptions are always treated with a high degree of confidentiality, and we pride ourselves on providing speedy, efficient service. We carry a wide array commonly requested over-the-counter products, and our prices are very competitive. We offer blood pressure testing, blood sugar, and cholesterol testing. We're open to fill your prescriptions Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Come visit Sadu's gas station on the Miku Highway or call us at 572-6840 or WhatsApp 461-6840 for more information. Night Meds Pharmacy. We are your community med store.
Automotive art is a place to start. Shift into your savings gear this March at Automotive Art as we launch our March Madness sale. Pull up at any of our branches this March and save 20% off on all car accessories. Roll out with fantastic deals on tires of up to 30% off. And if you're missing some key tools for your toolkit, no problem. We're offering 15% off on all tools store-wide. But that's not all. Shop now and enjoy exclusive in-store specials on car care, lubricants, and more. Don't miss out on the action. The March Madness sale is happening right now at Automotive Art. Automotive Art. Your car, our passion. Terms and conditions apply. See stores for details.
Transforming St. Lucia through football innovation and excellence. The St. Lucia Semi-Pro Football League provides a pathway for the professional and personal development of young footballers, leading to community enhancement across Ireland.
Great opportunity.
In 2024, 10 district leagues will compete for the Premier Cup and 9 district leagues will face off for the Super Cup. 81 games in 4 venues. Come support your community as you witness the first ever St. Lucia Semi-Pro Football League Championships. Competitive football, passionate players, and striking goals.
And it's
in collaboration with the government of St. Lucia and the St. Lucia Football Association, the Semi-Pro Football League is leveraging football to transform lives.
And so the referee brings the 90 minutes to an end.
So much for staying with the most monitored talk show in the world, and that is NewsSpin. As we say hello and good afternoon to you, Kimani. What's happening in the chat room?
Hi, Tim. Good afternoon. In the chat room, someone says, roads, water, these are very important. Can the minister or Wasco justify their need for an increase? Another comment, the entire network needs to be redesigned and upgraded. They can't increase and consumers never have water. Another comment, that's right, increases were granted before and absolutely nothing changed in terms of their service. This is insane. Another comment, the service needs to be improved by increasing storage capacity to every district at elevated areas. Someone says, sometimes for weeks no water is air in the TO. I believe some people pay for. A K9 unit is imperative now that these guns and ammunition have been seized. Let the public witness the destruction of these firearms so that they can be confident that these particular items will never again appear on the streets. Tim, why not put pressure on the PM to pay the police? What are you asking for the K9 unit? Another comment, and these people will be out on bail. How is that possible?
452-2979, your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Once again, that is 716-2026. Somebody says, Tim, the amount of money that is spent on Carnival, why can't the government spend that on our water system? Let's see if we have a call. Good afternoon to you. Please go ahead with your contribution, caller. Hello. Hello.
Hey, Blessings, good afternoon to you and your listeners all over the world, Timothy. PW on the line, Timothy.
Good afternoon, sir.
Timothy, I would like to commend Mr. Suku for saying what most politicians doesn't have the guts or the heart to say. And come on this program to tell the people of St. Lucia what is going on at Wasco. As we all know, Wasco is a broke entity. We all know that. And we all know if there is no increase and if the consumer will not pay the price, the government has to go and take a loan or borrow, Timothy, to actually bail Wasco out. Timothy, does the public service and the government knows what's happening at Wasco? Do they know have Wasco presented, this government has been in office for 3 years, have Wasco presented 3 financial reports for the last 3 years? The answer to that is no. I believe Wasco need an increase. Personally, water is life. But Wasco reminds me of Liat. the more money you pump into these entities, companies, is the more they consume or siphon this money. I mean, you cannot have a company like Wasco. It does not submit a financial report every year, and they are asking for an increase. You have Timothy, a consultant coming in. He gives a report. Nothing is published. Nothing is said to the solution people, and nothing is being said to the government. Everything is kept a secret unless, Timothy, we don't get that financial report, Timothy, and unless Wasco doesn't prove to us that money will be used for the improvement and the upgrade of the water lines, Timothy, the upgrade of infrastructural work, the more tanks on the island, more water tanks for areas that have problems with water, more pumps to pump money to actually pump water from one area of St. Lucia to another area and not go into salaries, Timothy. We need to know what are the salaries of some of these actually high-level people in high-level positions at Wasco. Are we going to give Wasco an increase for the salaries of some of these people, Timothy? We need to have a proper financial report of what is going on in Wasco, and then the money will be justified for an increase in Wasco. Timothy, I thank you.
Thank you so much for calling, sir. 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026. Somebody just sent me a WhatsApp message. Up to now, we in the South paying dredging fees for Wasco. It's on the bill. So I say no to an increase unless that fee is removed. And let's see if we have another WhatsApp message. Somebody says, the issues faced by Wasco are multifaceted, and unless they are dealt with holistically, no amount of increase will result in improved or reliable water services. The issues include poor management, incompetent staff in key positions, poor maintenance of infrastructure, exorbitant consultancy fees to friends and family. The idea that the increase has to be approved by the NUC and not the government or minister is also ludicrous, as we all know that the NUC is an arm of the government and its CEO is the minister's buddy. Do you have any more of your discussions in the chat room that you could go through, Kimani?
Someone says, we need an audit report. Another comment, Tim, I agree with PW 100%. Someone says, that increase will just vanish through a broken pipe and we will be back to square one. Another comment, the police always knew who the criminals are. The pressure is mounting now to show face.
What I understand is that the Prime Minister, National Security Minister, to his credit, is the one who is applying the pressure.
As he should.
Yeah, he's applying the pressure. No, he tells you that he's not a police officer. His father was a police officer, but I'm told that he's taking a hands-on approach these days and applying the pressure. I haven't heard that he actually walked in on a meeting with the hierarchy of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. I think it was the executive that was meeting recently, and the Prime Minister surprised them. Walked in, said, continue. You know.
My Sophia is turning over a new leaf, Tim.
NewsSpin's pressure is working. He doesn't want to admit it, but the pressure from NewsSpin is working. 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Let's see that somebody says a manager at Wasco makes between $15,000 and $20,000 if it does not increase by now with the new title of COO of the new person in charge. I think we have another one. Somebody says there, no to Wasco, no. Any more messages, Kimani?
We do have a few. How can Wasco ask for an increase in fees if they haven't provided a report, identified where they can cut costs or become more efficient? They have no clue deliberately what's going on over there. Those words are overused, multifaceted and holistically. I was just saying that, Tim.
Yeah.
Another comment, Tim, the driver of the container truck that had the accident over the weekend, I believe he was an inexperienced driver. Another thing, I think these owners of these containers truck employ a lot of young men to drive these trucks. Are their license endorsed to drive these heavy vehicles? Another comment, caller, honestly, we cannot afford to pay Wasco anymore. The money is collected in the past and even right now is expensed elsewhere. We have increases in flow, loose select. Another comment, what do you mean dredging fees is on the south? It is still on my bill. I am in the north. Hands-on approach like he did at the courthouse, ensuring that justice was served.
What's a message? I appreciate the police making that firearm bust, but see how detailed the report was on the ammunition and firearms, but it just said a quantity of cash, euro. How much euro, Tim, was the cash even counted? Just went through the press release and I read it verbatim. I'm not in a position to tell you the amount of money. And maybe they are still counting it. Kimani, what's happening? Any more comments in the chat room?
Someone says, Tim, the police themselves need to put pressure on the government for the dogs. Another comment, civilians have more firearms and outnumber police. Just imagine if they unite and decide to attack a police station. Catastrophic. And someone says, the police are doing the work of the canine. Police can't stop no crime. They're just responders, just like the paramedics. That's it.
Our NewsSpin question of the day. Why the maximum wait for the minimum wage? Why the maximum wait for the minimum wage? And somebody sent me a WhatsApp message. It reads, in my opinion, the government is playing hardball with the enactment of a minimum wage for the workforce on the island. The Prime Minister promised to enact the wage rate on Independence Day, but never did. I believe that the current administration is only playing on the intelligence of the people. How can you have over 80% of private sector workers earn wages as low as 3 to 5 EC dollars an hour, sometimes working 12 to 18 hours with only one night off? This is a crime against the people. The Prime Minister has to enact a minimum wage, or else I'm calling on the poor, middle class and the working class to vote him out of power in 2026. A WhatsApp message. And again, our NewsSpin question of the day. Why the maximum wait for the minimum wage? And the Prime Minister spoke on this whole minimum wage issue during an SLP town hall meeting some 6 months ago.
And the reason why we are taking so long to do that, because we need to discuss with the Chamber of Commerce, we need to discuss with the Manufacturers Association, we need to discuss with all these people before we come up with a wage that is going to benefit everyone.
Prime Minister Philip JPS speaking some 6 months ago at a town hall meeting of the St. Lucia Labour Party. Now, while I agree with the Prime Minister, he has to meet with those stakeholders, the Chamber of Commerce, the business community, etc. The workers of this country, they are also stakeholders. And shouldn't you be meeting those people who are directly impacted by the lack of a minimum wage? What about the trade unions? Meet with the representatives of the workers. Because, Kimani, very often workers are the last people to ever be consulted on issues that pertains to them. It's as if, you're seen as ordinary. You can't have a seat at the table and you can't have a say on an issue that directly affects you. It's like the vendors too. Mm-hmm. The vendors are treated very shoddily sometimes. It's because they're not seen as influential people and people, the movers and shakers of this society. So they live the time, the authorities have time for private sector interest, the business community. Mm-hmm. And also, generally speaking, I think it has a lot to do with the fact that you have key stakeholders in the business community who fund the campaigns of political parties. You don't want to offend them. We have a call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Yeah.
Good afternoon.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
You know, one of the reasons why I think it's taking so long to get the right minimum wage and so on because people have different categories of salary scales. And one specific figure might be the whole salary of someone else. So my opinion is they should measure minimum wage in percentages as opposed to actual figures, which is difficult to harmonize over a wide scale of salary differences. That's my opinion.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing it with us. I don't think it's something that is very simple, something that you can tackle overnight. But if you are a political party and you did promise to look at this particular issue and you get into office and it is affecting the majority of the people of the country, you certainly have to treat it with the urgency that is required. We have a call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air. Hello. Good afternoon to you, caller.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Hello, Tim. You hear me?
Yes, caller. Go ahead, please.
I am patiently waiting for that, Tim. I'm patiently waiting to hear how much. I am patiently waiting to hear how much. That taxpayers money costs us. I'm patiently waiting for that.
How much it will cost the taxpayers? That you're talking about the medical bill.
The medical bill, yes, sir.
Okay. All right, caller.
Okay, boss.
You don't have to wait anymore. So, my source told me that it will cost the taxpayers of this country a little over 600,000 euros. That is the medical bill of Government Minister Dr. Virginia Albert Poyot. A little over 600,000 euros. 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026. And we still have a number of Saint-Lucians who are waiting to get medical treatment at the health institution over in Martinique. I am not against the minister getting that kind of treatment. It's a life. We have to protect every life. But I'm also for our governments moving with urgency and seeing this as a priority so that other people do not even have to travel over to Martinique to get such quality treatment. A lot of us ordinary folks in St. Lucia, in various parts of the island, people suffer in silence because they don't have the money to even go and see a medical doctor, a private medical doctor. So that is a big issue, like the water situation, like the minimum wage, and also healthcare. Those are things that occupy the attention of ordinary folks in St. Lucia. Those are the things that keep them up at night. They wonder, what if I'm ill? But I'm ill right now. What can I do? My children, if they're sick, what would be the response? Because, sure, a lot of mothers can attest to that. I mean, just seeing that your son or your daughter is ill and you can't do anything about it,
right,
primarily because you don't have the finances.
Someone says, what dire true, Tim, and I share the same sentiments. 600,000 euros?
Reliable source. A reliable source gave me that information. A little over 600,000 euros. We have a call. Good afternoon. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air. Hello. Let's see if we could try again to put this call on the air. Okay, we can't put the call on the air, but continue to call nonetheless at 452-2979, 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026. Let's see if you have the call via WhatsApp. Hello. No, okay, we don't.
Good afternoon, Tim. How are you doing?
I'm okay, caller. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Kimani, and how was your weekend, guys?
Good afternoon.
Very good.
That's good.
Tim, did I hear correctly that the medical, from your sources, that the medical bill, what it will cost St. Lucia for Virginia Albert Poyot medical bill in Martinique will cost us 600,000 euros? Did I hear that correctly?
My information is a little over 600,000 euros.
So what, Tim, do some conversion for me. How much will it cost us in EC dollars?
My producer will do the maths for me because I don't have the exchange rate at my disposal right now. But go ahead.
Yeah, because it's absurd. It's sad. And there are people right now, Tim, at the OKEU hospital waiting for a bed for days on wheelchairs. From my information, somebody visited the OKEU hospital on Sunday yesterday, and to their surprise, when they went in there, people on wheelchairs, and they've been serviced on wheelchairs. People cannot get bed space. The hospitals have no medication, both the OKEU and St. Jude. And there it is that we're hearing that a government minister was flown to Martinique for medical treatment, and it will cost over 600,000 euros. I mean, this is absurd. This is wickedness, Team. This clearly shows that this Labour Party government continues to rape the treasury. And there's no accountability. Had it not been for your source to give you that information, there's nothing official coming out from this government for the Ministry of Health. Where is Moussa Jean-Baptiste to make that disclosure? Had it not been for you, Tim, and I want to applaud you and your source for giving us this information, we'll be left in the dark. This government, this Labour Party government, continues to send Lucian. Thank you very much, Tim.
All right, thank you so much. 452-2979, your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. What's happening in the chat room, Kimani?
In the chat room, someone says, does the minister not have medical insurance? Someone else says, Tim, with all the tools that the Prime Minister said that he's providing the police in order to do their job, ask the Prime Minister how many radios that the police are equipped with, because I'm sure that if a police officer is after a criminal heading from Marcia to Bridge Street, there's no way he can contact his counterparts near Bridge Street to be on the lookout, only if he uses his cell phone. Another comment, can you imagine everything needed for the average citizen is a mess in St. Lucia? The elites are getting VIP treatment at the expense of taxpayers. Someone says, other St. Lucians always a fun-raising barbecue. Someone says, it depends on what treatment that the minister is receiving. And someone is asking, did they have to pay what they owed prior to seeing her? And someone is saying that, Tim, the money is coming from her pocket.
All right. The broadcast will continue in a moment with more of your calls and your WhatsApp messages as you continue to monitor this broadcast. This is NewsSpin on Power 97.9 FM. We are also on the NewsSpin YouTube channel as well as Facebook.
There is only one option when they arrive. Our services will make the dead look alive. With Bouteille and Beaufort accessibility. Remember, we have the only private cemetery. No one can match our prices from coffins to corsage. Personalized service you get when Lazarus take charge. Quality service, no package to make your wallet bleed. Lazarus is your true friend in your time of need.
Coming soon, the same excellent Blue Select service in a new location at Daisy Avenue in Sanssouci, Castries. Thanks for your patience.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
Catch the new vibe and the lingo. More upon more so the tingo. Is more wet flow if you didn't know. All these deals is a winner. More pan, more wet flow. More data, more talk for sure. More WhatsApp, video can't stop. Unlimited talk, so you not stop chat.
Flow prepaid combo plans just got better. Loaded with even more data and unlimited talk. Take advantage of WhatsApp and all its features with our new prepaid plans. Unleash your creativity with more social media. Dial *129 to activate.
Now that's the new vibe in the lingo. Yes. More pan, more sell the tingo. It's more wet flow, now you really know. Get you now. All these deals make you save more. Get more.
In these modern times, the field of medicine has become so advanced that no one has to suffer any longer before they can be seen by a specialist doctor. La Clinique de Corps is proud to be the only healthcare provider in St. Lucia to offer the best and most experienced specialist doctors who are capable to first correctly diagnose and then successfully treat health conditions such as chronic back pain, spinal injury, sciatica, numbness, lupus, arthritis, joint pain, facial nerve pain, knee, heel, and shoulder pain, cramps, and carpal tunnel syndrome. Also available at La Clinique de Corps, complete nerve tests to detect nerve injury or muscle disease. All health insurances are accepted at La Clinique de Corps. So walk again pain-free with La Clinique de Corps. To book an appointment, please call 451-6559 or WhatsApp 721-9950.
Shift into your savings gear this March at Automotive Art as we launch our March Madness sale. Pull up at any of our branches this March and save 20% off on all car accessories. Roll out with fantastic deals on tires of up to 30% off. And if you're missing some key tools for your toolkit, no problem. We're offering 15% off on all tools store-wide. But that's not all. Shop now and enjoy exclusive in-store specials on car care, lubricants, and more. Don't miss out on the action. The March Madness sale is happening right now at Automotive Art. Automotive Art, your car, our passion. Terms and conditions apply. See stores for details.
It's time to spice up your meals with KFC's March Madness special menu. Rally up for our crispy, delicious nugget. Grab 8 pieces for only $10 or elevate your meal with 12 pieces for $15. Snatch up our nugget combos, now serving 8 or 12 pieces with a biscuit, fries, and a drink. Buy from $22 to $17 or from $28 to $23. We've got the little ones covered with 5-piece nugget meal with a biscuit and drink, or twisted up with mac and cheese, each for a tiny price of $10 and $11. For the hearty eaters, 5 crispy strips served with fries and a drink are all yours for $20. It's a limited time. Beat, make your way to KFC and treat to these March Madness specials while they last. KFC, it's finger licking good.
On Easter Sunday, the biggest brunch party in the West returns. Rise 4, the celebration. Easter Sunday, March 31st, Soufre Mini Stadium. Featuring international sensation Tennyson John and the DJ Project live. Also, MTX, A1 Jugglers, Sir Lancelot, Hype Kid, DJ JH Indalo, Levi Chin, DJ Irv, Power FM DJs, MC Donnerville. Easter Sunday from 12 noon, we rise.
Look at people in here tonight. Dance with me, baby.
Regular tickets are $80, $150 for VIP terrace area. Get your tickets online at www.fourcirclestickets.com. Mambo's Bar and Courts in Soufre and Courts Ready Cash island-wide. Get VIP and group tickets with no cash at Courts Ready Cash. Dress code Slay in Orange. Rise 4, the celebration, an Optimum event production. Platinum sponsors, Courts Ready Cash and Power 97.9 FM. Gold sponsor, Bank of St. Lucia. Other sponsors, Digicel, Piton Beer, Strongbow, and Island Sound.
In the heart of every community lies a dream waiting to come true as a journey begins. We dribble through life's hurdles, breaking down its barriers, looking beyond the horizon. Lessons are learned, friendships are forged, and strength is birthed from within. Beyond tactics and goals, we strive as a team. With discipline and perseverance, we advance. Through every kick, stumble, and victory, our lives are changing, and together we rise.
It's not just a game. Football is our life.
The St. Lucia Semi-Pro Football League, leveraging football to transform lives.
This is the most monitored talk show in the world, and that is NewsSpin on Power 97.9 FM. We are also on YouTube and Facebook. All right. So I have to apologize because I got some figures wrong. Okay, so I will apologize. And as somebody would normally say, there's nothing wrong in apologizing. I was wrong. I apologize. Okay, so the bill of 685,000 euros is what St. Lucia owes the hospital in Martinique in total. 685,000 euros is what St. Lucia, the government of St. Lucia, owes the hospital over in Martinique. The minister's bill, that is Dr. Virginia Albert Poyot, the air ambulance cost 7,000 euros. The air ambulance, 7,000 euros. And the stay at the hospital bill is $17,750. So the air ambulance, 7,000 euros. Hospital, $17,750. And what St. Lucia owes the authorities over in Martinique in total, the hospital there, in total is about 685,000 euros. My apologies once again. Let's continue with your calls via WhatsApp. Good afternoon. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air.
Timothy.
Hello.
If you're lying, if woman had to get in NewsSpin line, I would be a monk.
Well, caller, that applies to all of all of the people who are calling this broadcast. They have difficulty getting WhatsApp, getting the landline. So that's why I said it's the most monitored talk show in the world. Go ahead, sir.
Timothy, what I'm about to say will ruffle some feathers because people only want to give half the information and they don't want to give all. Minimum wage is one of the most difficult bills to pass in any country because we keep saying minimum wage like it's a bill by itself. There is so much other legislation that have to pass around minimum wage for minimum wage to even be possible. And for that reason, minimum wage will not be passed by this government. It will not be passed by the next government. I don't see St. Lucia passing any legislation for minimum wage in the next 10 years. Now, there's a lot of false narrative, or not necessarily false, but lack thereof information about minimum wage. For example, we think that these big companies, these established, let's say Super J, for example, an establishment like Super J is against minimum wage. That is false. Big companies want more minimum wage than any other company because when you implement minimum wage, all they do is they increase the prices.
Yeah, they pass the cost on to the consumer.
Exactly. Now, we will continue to shop at Super J. Now, Super J can easily put $2-3 in every employee paycheck. But what happens is the tea boutique owner, he either have to fire the people he have working for him because he cannot be bold and pass on the expense to the consumer like Super J. Because what they'll tell you, okay, well, if Super J increase their prices, what we'll do, we'll go and buy from the tea boutique. So what happened? The tea boutique still have employees now. The tea boutique employees minimum wage also rose. And they now, because we go in there, that is implying that their price is still lower than Super J. So what happens is when minimum wage increase, small businesses that do have a large margin of error, because we...
Hello? Oh, I think we lost the caller.
Hello? Without any making revenue, they have to shut down. Whereas Super J can go months without shut down for 2 months and open like nothing never happened because they have millions of dollars cushion for anything that come their way. So when we pass minimum wage legislation, small businesses getting run out of business, and what happens? It leaving all the customers for the big businesses because they have the revenue to ride the wave. You understand? Now we think that if I get $100, everybody gets $100. If one person gets $100, they have $100 more buying power. If everybody gets $100, the buying power of that $100 is not the same. And I'll give you an example of why it's not the same. If we all watching a football game and we sitting on the field, when one person stand up, they have that viewing advantage over everybody. 2 individuals stand up, they have the same viewing advantage. 3 individuals stand up, they have a viewing advantage. When everybody stand up, the perceived advantage of them standing up is lost. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, caller.
You cannot force the economy to do anything it's not willing to do. The businesses that are paying $3 is not a testament to the business owners' lack of a social consciousness. It's a testament to an economy that is so bad that business, these wages can exist within that economy. Because if the economy was doing well, people were making money, these wages have to raise by force because they would not attract anybody. Now, when we think about minimum wage, we're thinking about the poor people, the people that are uneducated, because they're the reason. That's where the bar actually reason. So if you're getting paid $60, minimum wage reach $50, you still getting the same $60. You will not get an increase. That is how it happening all around the world. Now, what happened, people don't understand. When the minimum wage, when wages artificially increase, what happens is the people at the bottom losing their job. Because I might have hired you for $40, you just leave secondary school to work on a site for me. Now they raise minimum wage to $60. I have to pay money, so now I'm looking for more value for my money. So I'm not hiring you, I hiring somebody that have more experience in the field. So then the people at the bottom that are least experienced, they all lost in their job. And then they have surveys that they carry out where the surveys say that people who get paid, they interview people after minimum wage increase. And all those individuals were happy and they highlighted these things as the positive impact of minimum wage. But that in itself is a joke, because you could ask questions on a survey to assist you in making your point rather than finding the truth. If 4 individuals playing Russian roulette, one have to survive, right?
Yeah.
After playing the game of Russian roulette, I carry out a survey. After playing the game of Russian roulette, was it worth it? The person who win alone that's standing, they will say yes, it was worth it, but we're not interviewing the free dead. Minimum wage, they always have that positive thing because they interviewing the people that managed to hold on to their job after the increase. But they don't interview the whole ton of people that lost their job as a result of an increase. But they don't, politicians, they don't speak, and I always talking about politicians, because they don't speak about that. It's a fire topic. It's just raise minimum wage and everybody good. And they keep us dumb. If you there's this guy, you ever heard of William Lynch?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, he said we have to keep their bodies and get rid of their minds. I can't remember exactly how he said it. But he was one of them famous slave owners in the Caribbean islands, in the some Virgin Islands, and they call him to America, and he's telling them
that's Willie Lynch.
Basically,
Willie Lynch.
Yeah. Keep their minds, keep their bodies strong, and their minds, and even that. Well, that is straying off the topic a little bit. He said that there's a thing he wrote, keeping 1,000 years of slaves in America, whatever. And he was saying we have to break the mothers, and then the mothers would break the infants. So that's off topic a little bit. But that's what they do. They keep us dumb. They keep us fighting. They keep us fighting over nonsense.
Okay, caller. Thank you so much for your contribution. And by the way, over in Trinidad and Tobago, the minimum wage was revised in January of this year from $17.50 an hour to $20.50 per hour. Over to you, Kimani, and the chat room.
I think recently Antigua and Barbuda, well, not recently, but they revised their minimum wage as well. In the chat room, someone says, Let's see. Let me continue to eat my breadfruit and green figs and hope and pray I have good health. Is this not expected for any high-ranking MP? If it were reversed with the opposition, would it not be expected? My gripe is the need for us to be able to provide these services. Another comment, I'm not against the minister getting assistance, but had we continued St. Jude's, we would save a lot of that money. What a shame. Someone says all politicians should have medical insurance. They all receive huge salaries. Because, Tim, the government already knows the thinking of workers and the union, so there must be consultations with the business sector to make sure that you don't raise wages beyond the reach of some businesses. Another comment, Wasco can only get an increase when we start to get quality water. YouTube comment, all government workers, to include ministers of government, are supposed to have health insurance. Why then do the taxpayers of St. Lucia have to pay for the minister's medical bill?
And I understand that the authorities in Martinique are livid. That bill, that huge bill of $685,000, that is euros, sorry, 685,000 euros, that is mounting ever so often.
I imagine that they would be. Another comment, this young man needs to be part of St. Lucia's government. Very good contribution, referring to the previous caller.
Yes, if you have a call via the landline, good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin, you're on the air.
Hi, Timothy. Can you hear me okay?
Loud and clear, caller.
Okay, brilliant. Look, I'm just bringing this to your attention. Are you aware, with all these truck accidents we're having, are you aware that to drive a container truck here in St. Lucia, there is absolutely no driving test? All you have to do is go to the ministry legally, ask to drive them, pay $50 EC, and you can drive the biggest container truck we have in St. Lucia. Yet, the government has decided that once you get to 70 years of age, now, don't forget, by the time you get to 70, you may well have been driving for 50 years, and you have to go and take another driving test in order to renew your license. I mean, this is crazy. 50 years. Now, as long as you're medically fit, why can't your license be renewed? And why are we letting these little boys drive these heavy container vehicles with no testing of their driving ability on that type of vehicle? This is absolute madness. So I just want to bring it to your attention because it seems to be the style at the moment about these container trucks. They're involved in a lot of accidents. There was another one just a while ago. I mean, it's crazy.
Okay, caller. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Somebody says via WhatsApp, I love the young man's comments on the minimum wage. And let's see if we have some more of your comments to go through. Somebody says there, good day, Tim. Is the Employees Federation in operation? The reason why I asked this is that my company is currently in salary negotiations with the union. The company has claimed that there is no way to verify our claims on the salary we are asking for because the Employees Federation has not updated their salary information in about 4 years. Well, it's a while I've not heard about the Employers Federation, so I'll have to check to see if they are still in existence. Another person says, well said, gentlemen, on the minimum wage, you should go and work for PJP and advise him. And let's see there. Kimani, you have any comments to go through?
We have a YouTube comment. Someone says, Antigua has a minimum wage. What with St. Lucia? Why St. Lucia is having a problem with that? That's it.
Okay. 452-2979, we have a call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin, you're on the air.
Hi, Tim. Hi, Kimani. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, ma'am.
Tim, it would be interesting to know, to get the breakdown of that 685,000 euro owing to Martinique from the government of St. Lucia. I said government because I suppose it's both governments. But it would be interesting to get a breakdown of those amounts and who the persons, who were flown to Martinique were and what were the individual expenses. Because if we, the taxpayers, are the one, who have to pay those amounts, then we have a right to know, what make up those amounts.
We do, and I'm hoping that the health minister, Mr. Moses Jabatis, will come clean on this and report to the public, because you as a taxpayer, you are asking the question. He is supposed to be the employee, but in reality, that's not what it is. But we hope he will take the opportunity to address that particular issue. And you have so many people who are serving as public relations officers for the government. They should take the opportunity to address this, because that is definitely a huge bill.
Yeah, it's a huge bill. So give us a breakdown as to who the individuals were and the amount, allocated to each individual. It doesn't matter what government. I suppose both governments had flown people to Martinique for care.
Yeah.
And sadly enough, we are here. There is no, medication at the hospital. People cannot get proper medical care. There are no beds, no bed sheets. And then, so my question, are those ministers more important than us? Are they more human than us? That they deserve such care? And we, the citizenry, should not get those care? Tim, this is crazy. Also, what I'm thinking too, the government minister, she has had other jobs prior to being a minister, right? Mm-hmm. So I am thinking, would she not have medical insurance? Because those people are supposed to have medical insurance. I mean, she's not a spring chicken, no disrespect to the minister, So I think the minister should have had or should have medical insurance. And other ministers who went to Martinique also, I think they too should have medical insurance. So are the medical insurance paying a portion of their bills, and then the general public is paying a portion? These are things that we need to know. If we are the ones who are burdened with those payments, then they need to come clean and tell us the truth and who is paying what and what are we paying on behalf of those people and why those people are so privileged to get those cares from Martinique, and we in St. Lucia, well, the poor of the poor, as they call us, we are here perishing. Thank you, Tim.
All right. Thank you so much. 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. What is happening in the chat room, Kimani?
In the chat room, someone says, let's see. No, they are not. They are our servants. Caller, if you had a Freedom of Information Act, would not be at pains in asking for such facts from government. Someone says, I am hoping Virginia will advocate for better health care. Someone says, Virginia Albert paid for all her bills and not one penny has come from government sources. I wish everyone in St. Lucia would get a chance to experience foreign USA, England, Canada to make a little change. Put PJP, come here. I want to have a meeting with you. Another comment for... That's it in the chat.
Okay,
Tim.
let's take our final call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin via landline. Good afternoon. You are on the air.
Hey, good afternoon, Tim.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to you.
Tim, I am very surprised to hear these kind of numbers. The St. Lucian government or the hospital in Martinique.
Mm-hmm. Why are you surprised?
My daughter was she wanted some services in the hospital in Martinique,
mm-hmm.
and she was seeking a French visa, Martinique, a visa to go to Martinique, and they denied her that visa. Thing. Could you imagine somebody is going medical treatment to save her life in St. Lucia, Tim, and they denied my daughter? This is Tim. I'm telling you, there are some people that are dying inside in St. Lucia, and they refuse to give her the visa to Martinique to seek for treatment. There are some wicked people, Tim. In spite, she came up with all the doctor papers from the other side, from Martinique, all her documents stating that she's going for treatment. She's not going looking for a husband. She's not going looking for a boyfriend. She's not going to looking for a job. It is for her life. She was fighting for her life. And they refused to give her visa in St. Lucia to go to Martinique. And they did not give her the visa.
Well, you cannot blame...
It was heartbreaking.
You cannot blame the government for this, caller. The French authorities.
And everybody, because that is what they have in place. The people they are putting in certain position to work. You understand? That is why it's happening. I mean, how could somebody deny someone a visa to seek after his... It was a matter between life and death. And, boy, Tim, I don't know what to say. Anyway, have a nice afternoon.
All right. Thank you so much for calling, sir. And once again, if you're just joining us, I want to clarify the total bill, what we owe the authorities over in Martinique for sending St. Lucians there to seek medical treatment. The total bill, about 685,000 euros. 685,000 euros. That's what St. Lucia owes to the Martinique authorities. As for the breakdown for the minister with responsibility for home affairs, who recently sought medical treatment over in Martinique, Dr. Virginia Albert Poyot, for the air ambulance, 7,000 euros, and her stay at the hospital would cost some 17,750 euros. Time now for our NewsSpin news of the day. Our NewsSpin news of the day: 9 dead, 78 others hospitalized after eating sea turtle meat in Zanzibar's Pemba Island. And that's a semi-autonomous region of the East African nation of Tanzania. 9 dead, 78 others hospitalized after eating sea turtle meat in Zanzibar's Pemba Island. And that is a semi-autonomous region of the East African nation of Tanzania. This has been another edition of the most monitored talk show in the world, NewsSpin. My name is Timothy Poleon. Have yourself a safe and enjoyable Monday. Please join us tomorrow afternoon, God willing, 12:30 for NewsSpin. Goodbye.